That there is my version of the high top caddis. Davey McPhail, rate my fly, 2 of 10.
你看到的不是一件艺术品。大家好，我是杰罗姆。这一期聊的是帕特维斯签名款高顶石蛾干蝇，它围绕干蝇带若虫钓组的实际需求设计，强调轻量、稳定与清晰轮廓，结构克制，材料简洁，落水姿态柔和，抛投过程中不易旋转。今天我们从绑制逻辑讲起。
Alright, so I'm going to be tying high top caddis in tan. So on a 16 ultimate dry. I'm going to tie these, or this fly, as one to be used as a standalone dry. I'll tie it with less wing material than a fly that I would use for a long distance dry dropper. less wind resistance, less spaces for water to get stuck into. It'll generate quite the line speed with a micro leader and a dry dropper, or just a light dry fly leader like I use. You don't generate a ton of line speed, so you can't clear that water out of the fly. So I don't double body on these things at all, and I keep the wing pretty light. So it's going to be in tan. Use the ultra dry yarn and the new Parapost yarn for the cider. I've got brown olive, the new Fulling Mill Pro Thread. You can use black. It's not all that important. I like an olive thread, so we're just going to use an olive thread. These 2 strands of that ultra dry yarn for this size fly. It's not important to actually totally measure it out to the end of the hook. You can always trim it. It's yarn. It's not that big a deal. I like to put a wrap underneath there to keep that from getting wrapped around the shank of the hook during the cast. It's pretty limber material, so it'll spin around if you don't pinch it down in there a little bit. Just kind of bind that down a little bit. If a little bit's left over, not that big a deal. We can trim a little bit out of there. Not the end of the world. We'll take that Parapost. You can do it 2 ways. You can run a double length of it, where you have some off the back and then the post, and wrap the hackle around the post if you want extra sighting ability. I'm just going to do it with a single. Should be enough for what I need. Bind that down a little bit. Make a couple wraps around that cider material because it's pretty soft. Just helps keep it in line, keep it relatively straight. Hack off the excess. I usually use a light dun in the hackle. You can use dark dun, you can use a grizzly, you can make it tan. I don't think it's all that important. Light dun is a pretty nondescript color, kind of goes with everything. So that's just what I usually use. I think I use it on just about all the color high tops that I tie. It's about a half to 1.5 sizes long on that hackle, but I don't wrap a lot of it. Turn and a half, 2 turns, that's it. Bind that in there, don't miss. Be better if I could see, but my eyes don't work too great anymore. You usually try to cut this down as far as you're comfortable with for seeing. If you leave it too long, it can spin the fly in the air. Take a little bit of that excess off if you want. I like to put a little drop of super glue right there, because the fly doesn't have a body. It doesn't even have a lot of thread wraps on it, so it can spin if you're not careful. One little drop right there usually binds that in there, keeps it from spinning, and that's it. Not a whole lot to it. Still has a profile, but it doesn't weigh much. It holds a little bit of air, so it lands nice and slow, but it doesn't trap a lot of water because there's no dubbed body. And you can trim it down if you want to use that size 16 hook and make it smaller. You just trim it right in the field. So I usually leave it just a touch longer off the bench because you can always make it shorter. Can't make it longer in the field. But that there is my version of the high top caddis. Davey McPhail, rate my fly, 2 of 10.